Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the commentary desk. One more go around here for Saturday. This time it's me and
I'm Hindu Man.
Raymond Peckies.
Yeah, I'm Peckies. All right. Yeah, I'm Peckies.
And it is the capstone game for North America and our game of the week, Cloud9 versus Eager, coming your way right meow.
So with the standings, I think both teams are in good positions, right? Neither of them need a win here, but of course with the...
If I'm Eager, I want this win bad.
I think if you're either one of them, you want the win bad. Not even for the standings at this point. It's almost 100% just to see who is stronger at this stage.
Well, let's take a look at Cloud9 here with, of course, their addition in the solo lane this time around is Baskin, as Omega did leave for Eager. Baskin having a pretty good showing so far this split, however. Yeah. Andy, MLC Stealth, HindLa, and BaRRaCCuDDa rounding out the squad.
HindLa has looked incredible this split for me.
Oh, look at that hair. Yeah, I think he's been putting product in.
Not what I meant.
Oh, you meant the gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good at that too.
He's good at Smite. Andy really seems refreshed as well since Baskin has joined the squad. I think this has been a major positive for both Cloud9 and for Eager with this trade. What's
been interesting, right, is that like over the last year of Smite as we move into the profile for Eager is that teams have kind of, there was a really high prioritization in the solo lane for the best player that you can find, right? And since then, we've seen teams actually shift around a bit and look for solo laners that fit the team culture more.
Yeah.
Because it's such a high pressure position that you got to have someone that kind of, you know, fits your culture well. I mean, that was always the knock against the players you saw shift around was, oh, he's complaining too much, or we don't gank enough for him, or whatever it is.
You know, I don't know that I agree that it's the player that fits the culture just from the solo lane, because I feel like solo laners are just different, right? They're just a different breed, which is why I think
almost said we. I heard you.
I'm a weirdo. I don't know. I mean, most solo laners that you'll talk to have very different ideas about Smite and the way that the game is played versus, you know, that of an ADC or a mid player.
Yeah, well, it's peanut butter jelly time. Let's take a look at the bands and the picks.
It's peanut butter and jelly time.
P&B time.
That's fantastic.
You like that?
I'm starving. And we're back.
Welcome back to the commentary desk, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now let's go see the picks and bands.
First option here to Team Eager.
And how did Versus get upside down? How did that even happen? What's going on back there?
And we might be back.
Welcome to the Smite Pro League, ladies and gentlemen.
On, but we're not
commentary desk. My name's Bart. Joining me here.
Just so you guys know, we actually have Bart has a keyboard under the desk now, and he's controlling all of this.
It's tough.
It's not as easy as Kevin didn't make it look.
Yeah. Wow. Jeez, the shots.
He's not here. He won't know.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm sure he doesn't watch either.
Speaking of which, guys, speaking of watching, there's a community stream going on right now.
Oh, my.
Twitch.tv/DBD_Ravage. He's showing off the UMG qualifier for the Smite Xbox UMG Invitational. It's the second week. One team is already qualified, so they're not entered, but Shing is actually playing right now on stream, Xbox, playing Baskin.
My goodness.
Isn't that some crazy
stuff? Who doesn't
love
them some Shing?
Speaking of team cultures getting swapped around.
Yeah, indeed. Circuit, Naja, out of the pool right away, respecting that DaretoCare.
What in the world?
And the little boy was removed.
I love how we've somehow reverted back to 2013 with Hell, Vamana, and Nasha being played all the time. This
Sobek,
is crazy.
Athena,
Sobek.
Ra, Kukulkan.
Sun Wukong.
Sun Wukong removed from the pool. First pick going to the side of Eager. Probably a Janus for Lassiz, yeah?
I would assume.
What the hell is this life? Second game in a row, we're going to see Sobek first picked.
And, like, this is madness. He's good. Right? I mean, like, he's got a good solo lane again for whatever reason. Right? He's got a good support role again. Bellona, I love that. Oh, and I would love to see a Khepri or Aphrodite pick here to match up with it.
Ah, man, I like Janus. Yeah. Janus is just so good.
But Afro connected to Bellona with Khepri ult? Like, yeah.
Yeah, well, you may see the Aphrodite come out for Eager, although it doesn't really fit their strategy that well.
We'll find out. With Janus being taken away, it's going to be Athena double Guardian so far. I'm expecting a Warrior as well, just because it seems like Eager really likes having sustainable frontline.
Yeah, Athena likely going to PBM, maybe DaretoCare. Poseidon will be selected by Lassiz.
Okay. I almost say PBR every time because I hang out with too many hipsters.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know the deal.
Yeah, peanut butter Mike.
With those glasses.
Well, yeah. Yeah, that's where the shots are coming from.
Geb going to be taken as well, the ever-present Geb shield. No surprise there. I think the only surprises out of this top pick, or these picks, have come out from the Eager squad.
Yeah, indeed.
The Zooler.
Yeah, Zapman Zooler going to be removed. Synergizes well with Athena and Sobek.
And it's going to be Thor taken away from Andy as well. Option to Cloud9.
Picking.
What do you think?
Ending.
Hunter?
I don't have time. Sorry, that's Awilix.
Okay, so definitely not unexpected. Andy not only probably loves this god, but is likely the strongest Awilix player worldwide. And with Awilix getting a rather insane buff, allowing her to now pull through walls, be very afraid of ganks into the tier 1 towers from Geb knocking you up, and then Andy pulling you over walls into purple buff and things like that. I expect a lot of those kind of shenanigans.
Well, Nemesis Xbalanque going to round out Eager here, so looking towards the late game there with that protection strip into Xbalanque just being as powerful as he is. Nemesis going to also help with this kind of reinitiation strategy out of Eager. Long-range initiations out of Sobek and Athena. Nemesis able to follow it up really, really nicely and set up for Poseidon, Xbalanque, the true damage dealers in this comp. Back over to Cloud9. It's going to be hi-rez. Locked in.
On board. He's my current pick right now for top hunter, I think. He's incredibly strong. He's almost impossible to box at this stage because of the Iron Crow, you know, not being able to be crit, but every 3 seconds. I mean, that's crazy. Dive Bomb does a ton of damage now. People really underestimating.
Yeah, 60% scaling over the 30. Doubling the damage potential of the ability.
You get that Deathbringer online, you know, sitting on a Transcendence, something like that. It could build up, man.
All them powers.
And
we'll see what they go for. Will it be that early Transcendence rush out of Hui? Usually not. Usually it's something a little bit less aggressive, but it will be. It'll be Bluestone into Transcendence for both hunters.
And look at that, right? That's what we're looking for. You got the Mark of the Golden Crow applies, throws the Ricochet for the stun, and then immediately dives in with the Dive Bomb, applying Bluestone twice, getting the stun, extra damage across the board. It's serious. Sobek going to go to the solo lane for Omega, going to be going up against Baskin's Bellona. I definitely expected that we were going to see this Mark of the Vanguard, which once again has come back into the meta.
Yeah, being favored by the solo lane Guardians pretty heavily. We saw 2 of them in the last game. Bouncing around the jungle.
I'm looking at DaretoCare, and it seems he's going to go red pot Nemesis. Now, Nemesis actually has one of the, if not the slowest assassin jungle clear in the game. Bastet actually very high up there as well, unless you completely drain your mana pool, which causes her to be very inefficient in the early game. He's going to go for maybe even early fights, but he's got to be careful because, I mean, there is no scenario in which Nemesis fights into Awilix safely.
Why is he still in the pool?
17 seconds is when you should pop it. You can get away with going up to about 14, but if you don't do it by 17 seconds, your risk of invasion becomes very hard to deal with.
So just staying in the well just to kind of, this is a preventative measure to not even begin to get himself ganked.
Well, I think what he's doing, he was waiting for his red pot activation.
Oh, but he could have waited for the red pot activation, say, here.
Well, no, because he bought pots. He has both
Oh,
red
because he bought it for the
pots.
green pot. Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm an idiot.
Not everyone likes to do that. You'll see Andy actually already in the jungle. He doesn't feel he needs those mana pots, which may come back to haunt him, may not. Usually Andy prefers this strategy and it doesn't hurt him. But not everyone can be as efficient. Oh, the dancing speed buff. The dancing speed buff.
Yeah, he dodged.
It's a new addition to Smite recently where the speed buff likes to dance.
Got them happy feet.
The speed buffs apparently sent a bunch of complaints to customer service about how players got emotes and they didn't. Yeah. Good joke, right?
Yeah, that was a great joke.
Yeah, thanks, man. All right, anyway, right side camps. Andy was obviously much faster on the draw there.
And Madness over in the dual lane here. Really, really deep for JeffHindla, but he's not the one taking the aggression. It's BaRRaCCuDDa, who's taking quite a bit of damage from Zapman. A rare, aggressive play from BaRRaCCuDDa.
I think that had to do with PolarBearMike having somewhat better clear, but for me... Oh!
Oh! Cuda, do it to him.
He's going to do it again in 9 seconds, too. But the real story for me, while that was happening, is Lassiz soloed down the left camps to try to keep his team somewhat in balance, but this is going to put DaretoCare slightly behind. You'll see he's still level 2. He'll get 3 here, most likely. But Nemesis is a character that requires a lot of levels, a lot of gold to be relevant, whereas Awilix is like, hey, if we're ready to fight, let's fight. Right?
Yeah, it's just as both of them have pretty relatively good built-in survivability between Suku and the shield for Nemesis here. But Andy going to look to make the early play here. Zapman fairly low. Waiting this one out patiently.
Right now.
We'll see. BaRRaCCuDDa, he's baiting here. Very, very low. Here comes
He's
Suku.
in.
Knock up.
DaretoCare
not going to go just yet. Taunting onto 2. DaretoCare's here as well. He'll slow down 2 with the slice and dice. Here comes Lassiz. No ultimate available yet. And the whirlpool off the mark, leaping away is BaRRaCCuDDa. MLC Stealth waiting in the wings here. Not firing any Janus abilities just yet. And he'll be first back to mid lane as a result.
Let's see how fast he gets back. You'll see a slight portal usage, actually using the bottom side of the red buff to get himself to lane faster. If he can outpush and pressure Lassiz into the lane, and oh, look at this, Lassiz is way too smart for that. He's not going to go into lane unsafely, goes around. He'll miss a little bit of gold as a result of this, but it's totally worth given the fact that he likely would have died if he took an unsafe route.
Yeah, and think about it this way, right? Like, no way he takes less than about 200, 250 damage there, which is the equivalent of what a green pot's going to heal you up.
Right.
And he's not going to lose 50 gold to the tower in that situation, closer to 20 or 30. So a net positive play from him there, considering the options.
Omega, you'll note, still getting kind of stuck underneath his tower at an experience loss right now as wave to wave Baskin level 5, Omega level 4, but Omega obviously very close, almost getting there. I'm wondering if we're going to see Baskin try to engage on this, or if he thinks just fighting into a Sobek with Charge Prey is pointless.
I'd assume the latter.
Ooh, decent damage though. Yikes. And this is the Sobek of new, right? The Sobek that has much better mana costs.
Yes. Correct.
Much easier to stay in lane for as long. You'll notice he's still sitting on a mana pot, not worried about it. Usually at this point, Sobek would have popped probably the majority of his potions, whereas Omega's still standing strong in lane.
And holding strong for now. Trying to force his fight on the Baskin. Oh, that Charge Prey. Could have been the difference there.
4-man rotation.
They still
coming.
want it, but they can't dive this tower. Yeah, and they'll expend a whole lot there.
This should
Omega.
be a Goal Fury call. I'm surprised to see that Cloud9 immediately didn't go for this when that was called.
And now, 3 members with egg on their face from Eager, slowly making their way back to the mid lane.
They didn't really lose too much for that rotation. Over in left side, Zapman's somewhat pressured under tower. The goal here, I guess, is the purple buff. This will be a very small win for the rotation that Eager made.
But it's a bigger win than what Eager got out of their rotation, right? Because blue buffs were not available. Now they're still kind of hanging around in no man's land here as Eager, and they'll look to take a blue buff in return as Bellona recalls back, and they'll secure this for Omega Sobek.
Left side camp's going to go to red. I'm assuming that the right side camps will go to Lassiz. You're noticing he's actually rotating back already. Does he spot the camps? Does he go for it? No, he's trying to safely just utilize the vision he can gain in between the route there to try to get into lane, but Andy's keeping it safe for now. It looks like Red's trying to take these camps, but there's a 3v3 going on. And
Blinking in as Athena, she finds a 2-man top, but Lassiz is out of position to follow up with the ultimate of his own. Turning the corner now is Bellona. She'll try to zone out the team, and Lassiz just trying to rally back as DaretoCare falls back. Omega also forced to run away from Bellona here as well, and Eager's been zoned away from these mid camps successfully. Right side will go to red.
Were you surprised, as I was, to see Baskin not take the ultimate chance there?
Just to put out the damage?
I mean, maybe just to block the path off. If he caught an Athena or a Nemesis dash, that could have resulted in a kill. He had full health. I think that's Cloud9 saying we respect Eager. They're obviously playing much better than they were in the previous 2 splits. And honestly, they can't be so, I guess, earnest when trying to fight into Eager now, considering they know what Omega is capable of.
I'd say it's probably something along the lines of they know they get the right side camps there without it, and it's really a low percentage play they get a kill. So take the farm. Here's
something interesting, and can we go to the graphs real quick? Cloud9 has a 1,000, almost 1,000 gold advantage.
Mid camps.
It's got to be mostly mid camps, right? They're getting a lot of back camps. Andy's rotations have net just a little bit more than DaretoCare. You'll notice Andy very close to the top, DaretoCare towards the middle of the pack under most of the members of Cloud9. Cloud9 just has.
It was okay. So it was a 4-man rotation, right? That found nothing.
Right.
And then Cloud9 rotates and takes a buff away. They get both the mid camps, and Eager has 2 members just kind of running around the mid lane, not actually participating in any farm. And that's where that 1,000 gold came from.
BaRRaCC keeps trying those trick shots off the wall. He's getting a lot out of them. Diving in here. No, okay. So Zapman's going to back. Is the Transcendence finished?
It's got to be. No way he falls back there at 50% HP and MP. Without it being done, it's not done.
No, it's not done. Let's check gold in hand. Yeah, BaRRaCCuDDa is ready to go. Zapman, where is that Xbalanque? Only at about 1,000 gold. He's 400 off.
Yikes.
That's, I think, one. Look, that's the gold difference right there. It actually isn't the mid camps, it's the hunters. BaRRaCCuDDa has locked Zapman under that tower and has stripped away a ton of gold.
Oh, Mega.
Oh,
this time they're going to dive it, though. Athena Ultimate's going to be used as well. Baskin, he's dead to rights here. It's just a question of how much does Omega eat in return. He's getting knocked up by Super. Comes back in. Kraken off the mark there. Rare miss by Lassiz. A big knockdown coming through as well from the Geb. And Janus is rotated as well. Through the portal will go Lassiz, take a ton of damage. He'll put down a Whirlpool and try to fight Andy, and he'll be successful here as well. It looks like, yes, indeed, Lassiz with the presence of mind to make the hot play there and drop the Whirlpool and fight that one out. Nemesis credited with that kill, it looks like as well. The trade still goes in favor of Cloud9. But Eager, I mean, they get a little bit more than they, I think, expected there. That one should have really gone heavily in Cloud9's favor.
So, admittedly, I do not play a lot of Awilix. She's not my type of god. With that, Feather Step, I'm pretty sure, not 100%, Feather Step is crippled in that Whirlpool, which means he couldn't get that damage or that immunity that he needed to get out of that Whirlpool. So Lassiz actually not only credited with a very important kill, but saves his teammate in the process. Very good play.
Yeah, and just barely, too. I mean, barely does he get that trade, but it ends up
Yeah.
coming out fairly well in his favor. Imagine that Kraken had been on the mark as well. He could have really, really cleaned up effectively there.
Yeah, I think you mentioned it, a rare miss from Lassiz. Usually his Krakens are dead center, like
Among
gut
the best.
checks.
PolarBearMike, they take a ton of damage. Retribution Shield going to be used as well. Both go through the portal into the double knock him. No, not going to be there, but PolarBearMike still will fall as he's slowed down. DaretoCare continuing to try to fight this. Whirlpool dashing through his Nemesis. Yes, they'll get one kill in return. Andinster forced out onto Suku. Baskin shades over from the soul lane as well. Let's check into the left side lane, though, where it's BaRRaCCuDDa once again shoving Zapman underneath the tower. Really, I mean, it seems like just on command he's able to get lane control.
Uh-oh, Andy in some trouble here. Flips over. One shot's going to do it. Dare finds it.
Great Nemesis play kills there. I mean, he knows right when that happens. And once again, Omega.
Bye-bye.
He's going to have to hit another spell. Charge Prey. Yes, well done.
That's going to kill him, though.
He's going to die, and he knows it.
That's not worth.
Not worth.
Not worth. Bellona has a much better endgame. You know, she'll do more damage, and Sobek has good control. Mid lane, BaRRaCCuDDa getting burned down.
He just bit off more than he could chew there. He didn't expect the slice and dice slow into the Whirlpool, not being able to escape that by just walking out, and he's held in place there. Lassiz once again with the game sense to turn around and fire his abilities.
And yet, still, Cloud9, 2 kills down, still has a small gold advantage. I imagine the experience is in their favor. Yeah, as we see, 500. Story still the Hunters. BaRRaCCuDDa going down there gives against Zapman, a little bit of license to start gaining some of that farm back.
Yeah, but still no Transcendence for him to stack up.
Oh, are you serious? Is it still not ready?
I mean, he has the gold for it now, but he's kind of forced to stay here, as you mentioned, and farm back up.
That's brutal. That hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts.
And he's going to stay for another wave as well. He's going to delay that Transcendence just to try to recover.
Well, the Golden Hand, at this point, now he's not looking for 1,400 anymore. He's looking for 23. That way, when he backs, he can also get Boots 2 to try to tie the damage from BaRRaCCuDDa. That, or can go into Boots 1 and a level of beats, but he's going to choose the Boots 2 timing.
Yeah, it's a good one. Omega will finish off that last little minion. He'll lose some gold underneath the tower as well here as the blue buff is secured.
That's always like a harsh, like little misplay when you throw, you start moving away from the minion and it's not quite dead yet, and as a result, you miss another wave to the tower. Or another creep. I mean, it's a small amount of gold, and luckily for him, Sobek doesn't require a ton of gold to be relevant. You know, he needs a few core defensive items, and then he could be a frontliner. Whereas Bellona requires, you know, things like Frostbound Hammer, you know, possibly Mail of Renewal or Spirit Robe. Like, all of those things need to be online before she can start being a frontliner that Sobek gets to be for free.
It's about a 25 Transcendent stack advantage here for BaRRaCCuDDa. And, you know, he's got his boots done as well whenever he wants to go back and pick those up. But waiting in the wings.
Oh, here comes Andy
our old
as well.
Zapman here.
Now, is there a ward that's spotting any of this? No, I think they're ganking through the sentry ward, which is always very important. This is going to limit Zapman's understanding of how many people are rushing in, but that'll help.
He'll fire his ultimate because the flank is coming out from Eager. They're going to find JeffHindla. They're going to immediately erase JeffHindla, but the Suns are falling down, preventing Eager from falling back in necessarily the position they want. Through the portal they go. Nemesis is going to use her beads to not take any follow-up damage. They thought the Unstable Vortex was on his way, but it wasn't. Eager does get an important trade, though, to bring this game back to dead even here.
I don't think Jeff understood how many people were coming for him right there, and as a result, you know, the Cataclysm doesn't go off. He doesn't get off the rollout in time before he's crippled. They used a lot there, which is normally not a great idea for a support, but given the fact that without JeffHindla, they can't do Gold Fury, they can't aggress into mid-camp fights, and Cloud9's not going to take foolish fights.
Oh, the Whirlpool right on the mark there. I don't think she has enough room. Nope. Great positioning there by PolarBearMike to cover the option. Andinster will still go down, and once again to DaretoCare with the Retribution Shield activated.
That was such a good play by Andy. I mean, the way that he got the double knock-up, he gets the flip to avoid the damage, but the rush down from Eager was so strong, and no one was there to back Andy up on Cloud9.
Look at DaretoCare's boots. Okay.
I got nothing for that, man. Do you want to yell, what are those? Is that...
Kinda.
Do you want? All right, go for it. This is your time to shine.
Reinforced grease, huh?
So a little bit of power, you know, not a lot. Gives you some health, which is important. But I think the big deal here is the crowd control reduction. If he's going to be able to dive into the front line, and you know, I said I think it's going to be a warrior, right? Nemesis, obviously an assassin, but going into this kind of like boots is going to give him a more frontline presence, which you know,
she's a warrior.
Known to play as.
Nemesis is a warrior.
Nemesis used to be a warrior. Nemesis is an assassin. Nemesis was a warrior, and it was fantastic. It was like the best time of Smite in my life. 7 second slice and dice, man.
That was the best time for you?
Yes. Do you not remember Old Man Bart?
Old Man River. I don't know. I don't remember you ever having fun. I remember Nemesis being strong. Kraken going to use once again to erase JeffHindla there.
Got another one.
That combination is really tough for him to deal with because the rollout startup after the Nemesis ultimate is painfully slow.
Yes.
And it's an easy cripple confirmation.
Especially if he's also been slice and dice, like the slow stacking plus the whirlpool bringing you back in. You're moving at negative pace.
Yep. Getting pulled right back into the middle of that whirlpool there.
Is it going to be Gold Fury? It's going to be Gold Fury. Looking at Bear for this one. Sunbreaker should be available.
There's a Janus ultimate being set up here by MLC Stealth as
Here
well.
it comes.
You can see, here it comes. Off the mark. Not going to hit anybody there.
And
just
they got it.
Slightly off the mark. Sun's going to start falling down. PolarBearMike, he's fairly low. Feather Step's going to keep him in place, and he's going to take the fall as well, but it's just a god traded out for a major map objective. Credited to Eager.
And that was a good play by Eager. To the same point, Cloud9 very slow in the draw. I think they may have underestimated Eager's potential damage there with Kraken being down, but they still blew it up massively. Eager takes their first lead of the game, as you see about 1,500 in their favor for gold.
13 minutes into this one, and now Cloud9 wants to make the play. MLC, he's going to go deep here, forcing Lassiz way off the tower there. Unstable Vortex to clear that wave. Proxy farming it, but it's just a Geb and an Awilix there taking down this tower. So it's going to take them a good little bit of time. They won't be able to capitalize much more off of this besides the tier 1, but that's enough for now.
So I like what Cloud9 did there, because similar to when Eager's like, all right, they don't have a support, let's rush down the Gold Fury. Cloud9 was like, all right, they don't have a support. They started to spread out. Let's rush down the tier 1 and get something back. Eager's still in the lead, but it's starting to shrink a little bit. So far, very even game.
Well, Bellona going down the old Frostbound Hammer Runeforge path, so not much coming out of the Bellona here for probably the next 6-7 minutes until she gets that Runeforge done and starts building into her next item as well.
Little curious to see the Runeforge in favor of the Mail of Renewal. The small amount of power she's gained probably not going to offset her kill potential, especially with the cooldown reduction being very effective for frontliners, given the fact that Shield Bash can build more steps.
Oh wow, they're just going to dive stealth, just straight up.
For real? And they're going to take the tower. That was a great play.
Yeah.
Nobody. Oh, and then JeffHindla getting Aegis.
Okay, well, there's one way to deal with getting Kraken over and over again.
And that Aegis actually wound up saving his life. You'll note his health a little above half at this point. If he had gotten knocked up there, plus the Kraken center damage, I think DaretoCare would have been able to finish that off, including a title surge. So that was an amazing play. No one expected that one at all. Good call. 2
ultimates traded out for that tier 1 tower in exchange, and you can recoup what Cloud9 got out of that last push.
Plus that tier 2 Aegis on cooldown for another 2 minutes, which means Lassiz has more kill potential.
Yeah, he'll have the Kraken back up well before that 2-minute mark.
He's got that spear online. It looks like he's starting up another item, most likely Gem of Isolation to come out of the uncommon sash. But no Chronos Pendant just yet. In fact, it might not be a Chronos Pendant at all. After the Gem of Isolation, we could see him go directly into Rod.
Keeps going how it is, but here comes the Janus ultimate. Cataclysm off the mark. A miss from JeffHindla there. It's also not something that happens very often. Lassiz is going to beads and run away. Down will likely fall PolarBearMike. Beads away the portal from Janus, but he will go down to the Unstable Vortex. Zapman trying to take the shots that he can. But he'll be forced a Rising Jaguar, and a smart play there by him as well. But here comes that Bellona initiation we've been asking for. Zapman slowed down considerably here, and he will go down to the Frostbound Hammer build up by Bellona. So we do see her join the fight successfully there. And now it's DaretoCare trying to get something out of this, but they're locked off completely by the threshold. Now they can start to move forward, and MLC Stealth may need to be a little bit careful here as he could get run down. DaretoCare, he's going to go look to fight 4.
Lassiz is coming. He does have that Kraken, and it looks like they notice it. Although going for Baskin at this stage of the game is very
I think he's just trying to. I think he was just trying to steal protections there, but she just doesn't have any.
Here's Lass
protection items. Lassiz, I don't know if he has the speed. He'll Kraken right away. BaRRaCCuDDa immediately beats Kraken off the mark, trying to take him down as PolarBearMike, but it's Athena damage. Omega, he's rotated in as well. No. But I don't think they can dive the tower here. Maybe they can pressure it and get some chip away. And it looks like Cloud9's happy to concede this tier 1.
Yeah, they're going to take a tier 1 here on the side of Eager for 2. It'll wind up. Oh no, they're going to back. Okay. All right, so they're just going to cause the
I think Cloud9's going to go Fire Giant there if they continue fighting, perhaps, is the thought.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. And, you know, look at them. They're actually hovering on that side of the map. You know that they were ready for it. And they have the damage for it. God bless, right? I mean, Ho Yi right into an Awilix. That's going to be a quick FG. Even at 16 minutes, that's a quick FG.
Yeah, no executioner yet, though, so not as fast as it potentially could be. You got to think that's coming out sooner rather than later.
Well, he's level 13. Can we actually hover on Awilix to see if he has level Gravity Surge to level 3? I think that's an important call. We'll actually find out in left lane.
He has.
Yes, he has. Doesn't get it.
Not going to get the knock up there, though, Zapman. Okay for now. As the mark comes out. Bellona stealing away this right side blue buff. Sobek. Omega going to do what he can about it. And tail whip.
He got it. That's always one of the worst things. Like 2 people trying to fight for 1 buff. It's like, what do they have up? What do I have up? How much damage can they do? I really thought that was going to go for Baskin, so good on Omega for that tail whip.
Yeah, it's just, you know, knowing the amount of damage you can deal with your ability. Sobek's base damage value is quite high.
DaretoCare gets that sentry ward down. They're going to take away another sentry. A big point of vision for MLC Stealth, but you'll note he does have beads, which means he should be able to get out of danger. Janus, one of the more slippery mages in the game.
Towards that man.
Oh, he got him.
Oh, he got him.
Oh, he's in trouble. He's in big trouble. I'll see you later.
Gravity Surge not used there, curiously. Or was it, and it just didn't fire? No, it was not used. Huh. Andinster just didn't think he needed it. Here comes a rotation, though. Janus Ultimate's going to come out, but here comes Lassiz and DaretoCare.
Kraken is up.
Kraken's up, but they need to find the positioning for a ton of damage returned. And Hu-Yi just leaps right over it. This time Lassiz can't get that return, and BaRRaCCuDDa with a chance to make the hot plays here. Doesn't have another Mark of the Iron Crow. Doesn't matter for PolarBearMike. They'll take him down nice and easy. Well, not so easy, I guess, at that, but Andinster gets credited for that kill. DaretoCare, not much he can do. Sobek pushes up the lane in the mid.
The Gold Fury reset here. Omega doesn't have a way to stop this, and there's no way that Nemesis has a chance. This should be a free Gold Fury for the boys on Cloud 9, but they've got to hustle here. Lassiz coming up soon.
Well, Janus Ultimate was down, so they're not going to be able to get there super fast, unfortunately. Omega.
I was surprised that they backed. I mean, they should have just taken it.
Having fun, Omega. Just lurking in the waters there, getting all his mana back, taking another mana buff.
Don't hate on the ult usage. He had to do that.
Oh, yeah, no question.
You know how long that thing takes, Sobek?
Yeah, I do. I do indeed.
All right, so finally the Gold Fury gets taken here. It looks to be uncontested. Zapman, no, he won't even peek over. He's going to go right for his blue buff. Baskin teleports over to not lose his tier 1. Good play coming out from Cloud 9 as they take the lead back to the tune of about 2,500.
Back and forth this one.
It's been a pretty roller coaster game so far. Action's been high. Both teams have played extremely well. You'll note that in the last engagement, it wasn't that Eager like massively misplayed. The Kraken was great. It's just that MLC got out of it. You know, we got the dive bomb. He goes right above it and then jumps onto Lassiz afterward for the counter initiation. It wasn't a misplay by Lassiz. It was just a great play by Andy. A great play by BaRRaCCuDDa.
Max CDR, Janus there, able to throw out a few unstable vortexes and flash farm up 2 camps with the Awilix and Geb. Continuing to move their progression along nicely.
Shoes of Focus have been very popular this weekend.
They got the mana.
I'm very surprised to see people favor the 250 mana over 5 extra damage.
Ooh, Jeff. Okay,
Jeff finds
he's going to be forced to use another Cataclysm here. Rollout not going to be stopped this time. And he does have that Aegis available as well, remember.
So things are going to start going poorly for Eager if they keep trying to commit to JeffHindla and not getting him, because Geb is starting to get to the point where his shield is maxed. You know, he's doing a ton of damage with Shockwave. The Cataclysm is effective, obviously, but it's not like the end-all be-all at this point. It's just how well can he frontline and shield his carries. And given the fact that BaRRaCCuDDa is level 18 and has almost all of his core items, he's in fact very close to finishing the Executioner. Once that's online, it's going to be very hard for Eager to deal with this.
19 kills through 20 minutes. You know, normal pace game for North America this last couple of weeks. These games have been going longer and longer over here. Europe's games being a little bit more faster paced, which is kind of a weird thing to say. Is
still
the history of Smite, it's definitely not been the case. It's usually been the other way around.
That's pretty quick.
Say what?
It's about kill per minute. That's pretty fast.
Yeah, that's like a normally paced game, I'd say.
Well, I think what's happening in Europe is Epsilon is forcing engagements that I don't think the European players are used to. Like, they're really changing things up. And I think the players in Europe are trying to adapt to adapting. Okay.
Are they adjusting to adjust in North America?
I mean, so far, Adjust is trying to adjust in North America.
Yes.
Which I think he's doing a damn good job of.
Yeah, he's adapted
considering
well.
He's coming in with no pro experience.
He's a challengers player.
Right, yeah. But that's not pro.
No, competitive experience, however.
21 minutes in. Gold Fury's not going to be up for a while. Fire Giant could be a possibility, but I don't expect either team going for this without 2 or 3 major picks. At this point, I think both teams are kind of in farm mode, with, I think, DaretoCare ready to get a little bit antsy. If you take a look at Dare's build, you'll notice that he's likely going into that Mail of Renewal next. In fact, he definitely is. Once that's online, we're going to see Dare start being like that crazy frontliner that we know he loves to be.
But why tank boots?
I don't know. I mean, I have to assume it's the crowd control reduction.
So if crowd control reduction actually reduced knock-up height, then it makes lots of sense.
Smite.
Huh?
It'd be the best stat in Smite.
Yeah. but I mean, there's a ton of CC on Cloud9. Don't get me wrong there, but like
they have 3 knock-ups. right? They have the Shockwave, which is pretty low to the ground. They have Dive Bomb, which is like borderline irrelevant. And then they have Awilix, Moonlight Charge, which is actually huge. Oh, there we go. Force the beats.
On the Lassiz, she drops a Whirlpool in place. He gets clipped by the Janus ultimate there as well. And Simple Vortex is off the mark.
Probably dead.
Kraken in place, does hit too, but he gets pulled back right away. Aegis used by Lassiz as well. He gets eliminated by andinster. Omega's here doing what he can as the Sobek, but it's just not that much. No real damage items available for him outside of those boots and the ethereal staff. That's a hybrid item. And Sobek's just not what you're really looking for when you think about, damage dealers are going to change the pace of a fight. He does get Cloud9 relatively low across the board there, and it does look like Eager wants to try to make something out of this big rotation. It'll be a blue buff stolen away, and maybe some pressure on the tier 2 as well.
Yeah, I don't think they have the...
Well, tier 2 mid is going to be pushed in by Zapman.
Which is good, right? This is what Zap should be doing. Oh, but he's not going to take the option. BaRRaCCuDDa rotates down. I thought he would at least take a few pot shots, given the fact that Fire Giant can't be called at this point. There's no real buffs up aside from maybe some timers for the mid camps.
No, but he can just get soloed by BaRRaCCuDDa.
That's true.
Executioner versus Lightblade. I mean, it's really not even a contest.
Zapman would have to be directly on point with every single one of his branching bullets. Otherwise, Mark of the Golden Crow would burn him down in an instant.
Yeah, he'd have to hit more shots than BaRRaCCuDDa.
Significantly so, I would say. Probably like 3 or 4 to take it down, given the fact that Ricochet is going to wind up doing a ton of damage. He could dive bomb away from most of the poison darts on reaction. BaRRaCCuDDa definitely has the 1v1 at this point. I would like to see Zapman get a little greedier, look for those kills. Cloud9 really needs to put him in that carry role, given the fact that Nemesis is building into a lot of defense. With that, he needs to get kills for that passive.
Yeah, DaretoCare had a ton of impact earlier on in this game, and since then they haven't been able to find those picks they were finding before as the Aegises have come out from Cloud9. So how will DaretoCare adjust in the mid stages of this game is a big question here for me around Eager.
Well, he's going to play Warrior at this point. That's what he's built into.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, he's going to be a frontliner.
Yeah.
Lassiz has seemed to kind of be a little bit shook since those Krakens have been off the mark the last couple of times. He found those 2 big plays, and since then he's been trying to recreate that moment, it seems like.
I think we're going to see less Krakens now, and he's going to look for key moments instead of trying to initiate with it the way that he has been.
Yeah, I think so as well.
What we're going to see is PolarBearMike's going to go in, he's going to look for the taunts with the blink taunt, and then Nemesis is going to go in, strip the protections away, and start fighting. Once they're both kind of low, they're going to swap to the backline for peels. It's likely Omega's then going to take a frontline position, and that is when Lassiz is going to be looking for those big Krakens. That's when Eager has the chance to blow them up. The issue is MLC Stealth is putting nigh on Kraken damage every time he throws an unstable Vortex, and it's going to be really hard to control Janus.
Yeah, that's an understatement. I mean, impossible maybe?
Yeah, especially, moving Aegis and beads. Like, what are you doing with that, right? Like, Janus, I mean, he has the CC immune ult. He's got Threshold, which is like basically Creeping Curse, Heavenly Agility without the healing reductions built in. And then he has a ridiculous amount of damage that if you chase him and get baited, you're taking 50%.
Zapman says, enough with this Gold Fury. I want my purple buff, boys.
Which is a good idea. Zap's got to have the highest damage possible right now, which is why he'll scoot back and pick that purple buff
I got to tell you, what's really impressed me about BaRRaCCuDDa has been his knowledge of the map so far as this Hui. I don't know, did you see that last shot he just took?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I mean, it seems like he's really put in the hours here. And he also kind of showing me there, and you may actually see this. I think we've only really seen Hui's on the Chaos side.
Oh, Hindla's getting slammed here. Ton of damage. Does he get the shield off?
Not a Kraken. Look at Lassiz. What a clever cat. Got to hold it that time. And still holding on to it, in fact, is the Poseidon here. So this is a lot what made Lassiz's Poseidon so feared in the last couple of weeks. Is that ability to just find the right position. And my God, that character. Woo!
That going through the portal while Aegis stuff, man. You gotta love it. Gold Fury likely to go to Eager here. Baskin perhaps foolishly trying to make an attempt at this one, as around the backside you're gonna see BaRRaCCuDDa make an attempt at Lassiz. I think he was looking for the triple bank shot to try to steal the Gold Fury. Good attempt, but I think Baskin's gonna pay for it.
Now Baskin to ult over the wall there.
Fire Giant?
Yeah, that's a lot of ultimates used, you're right.
It looks
they do
like
still have JeffHindla though, but he's gonna make it back up in time. If they had an extra maybe 10 seconds there before Geb got up, then for sure.
I was just wondering if they were going to do it because they were posturing, but look at the golden experience. Holy.
So close. Second game in a row now that around 30 minutes, we're going to see a dead even game.
I mean, 100 gold and 300 experience is basically non-existent. You can't even formulate the wave-to-wave calculations to ensure that they both have the accurate amount for every creep that has been spawned. At this point, this is the absolute closest a game could possibly be. This is insane. Eager has really played up this season. But perhaps we shouldn't use the word play up. I mean, Lassiz, Zapman, I mean, these used to be the best players in the world, right? There was no contest. The Dignitas squad in their prime was uncontested for the better part of a year before the eventual, Vicious and Delicious COG Prime and now Cloud9 roster, or at least most of it, turned up and showed that they are just
16, 17 games in a row without losing?
Tournaments.
And tournaments, yeah. Yeah, they didn't lose like a game going into Worlds.
Right, which was crazy because those tournaments, they fought like 5 rounds every week.
So those were brackets.
I would say 6 to 7 games a week. And they were winning every one of them. That was 8 weeks, so they were probably close to 50-0 going into the first Worlds, the launch tournament. And that's where Dig started to really fall. But a big part of that squad had always been Omega, right? I mean, he was the solo laner. He came back after he was on Snipe for quite some time. And he showed that he is a top-level solo laner playing with, the best squad in the world. And now he finds himself on the other side playing with another former best team in the world. So it's not like he's trading very far down despite the records. I mean, and then again, if you look at the records now.
I don't know. When he went, that was pretty far down.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
But now, I mean, obviously it's working out.
Seems like a great choice in retrospect. And it's been successful for them as well.
Yes, it definitely has been.
I'm just waiting for Zapman to have a, real...
Zap moment?
Well, just a few games in a row where he really has dominant performances.
Similar. I think BaRRaCCuDDa and Zapman are the 2 players that I look at worldwide that have won tournaments repeatedly without dying. Right? We had BaRRaCCuDDa, it was like 4 weeks or something in a row without losing a single health bar. And then Zapman won, I think, like 6 weeklies in a row without taking a death.
Yeah.
Craziness. And then
right side lane. Oh, this on the pluck is going to be successful from Omega. They're going to try to bait out the leap here from Bellona, looking to hold that Nemesis ultimate for as long as possible. Here comes Geb. Geb shield's going to be available as well. And as the Geb rotates in and the Janus comes through as well, that's going to be all she wrote for the aggression.
Left lane, though. It
Classic
seems that
Omega.
we're going to trade a tier 2 for, a tier 1 for a tier 1. As on the map right now will be the Eager squad. And it looks like JeffHindla and the boys are going to take this opportunity to either fight or go for it. Oh, Omega could be in some trouble here.
Oh my, tail whip. Charge
Good
prey.
turn around.
Tower not taken yet. Tier 1 on the left side, also not aggressive just yet, but it is going to fall here on the right in just a moment. And it looks like that was a nice little stall there by Omega, though.
Could this be a tier 2, or are they going to continue the aggression?
I think they should.
Zapman's still split pushing. They've got to keep this going.
Yeah, I think both teams should, actually, in the position they're in. Continue.
Someone should probably back on the Cloud9 roster, because that can turn into a Phoenix very quickly.
Yeah, it's Xbalanque. And yeah, he's going to keep moving forward as well. Oh my.
They got 2 up there. It looks like Lassiz is
still
there
as well. Yeah.
And Awilix is rotating. I don't think he can fight into 2. This should be a Phoenix for Eager.
Cloud9 miscalculates there.
Yeah, Cloud9 definitely getting a little worked there. I don't think
that's the far side Phoenix. That's like that's the important one.
That's the real Phoenix. And look at this. Look at Omega right now. Kraken not going to hit the center. JeffHindla going to throw up the Cataclysm for some damage as the Suns come down as well, but Jeff very low.
Yeah, the stroke a little bit rushed there from Lassiz, I'd say. I know they're cracking a little bit off the mark, but they do still secure a kill. DaretoCare's ultimate also came out onto Awilix there. She retreated away from the tower, thinking that they could pick up both her and the Geb. But here, Zapman making the smart call to go ahead and start up the Fire Giant here. He's taking it down about a fifth of its HP. Go for the Rising Jaguar to drop the aggro and avoid the knockup, and then run away and clear the wave because they're going to leash this one. The surge back from Cloud9 just too powerful.
And Cloud9's just going to go to the Fire Giant? I mean, we got to teleport in from Baskin. Jeff's still down. All 5 from Eager. A little curious to see Zapman give that one up. I think it's the safest call. I mean, I don't think there have been throws in any version of Smite that haven't most come from the Fire Giant itself.
Yeah. No doubt.
So
with the exception of maybe that one game that Snipe somehow threw at the launch tournament.
Poor Shing. Poor Shing. He bled the player and not just the Titan, and the cats just ran into the fountain and died.
Yep.
Depressing. But not for BaRRaCCuDDa, right?
No, Bear loved it.
BaRRaCCuDDa and DaretoCare, who just destroyed the whole team after that, that small little mishap and won the game.
Oh, the golden years. I say that these are definitely the golden years of Smite here, though. Now, year 2 of the Pro League, moving into Worlds, Part 2. If you want tickets, ladies and gentlemen, watching along at home, swc.smitegame.com, currently on sale. Come join us in the weekend in January.
Good recovery,
Thank you. That's why I got paid.
Shout out to SmiteCon.
SmiteCon?
SmiteCon.
Is that what it's called now?
That's what I'm calling it. And I think someone
I like hi-rez expo.
Hi-rez expo.
HRX.
That's actually pretty dope. Oh, man.
We'll see. I'm sure marketing is something way better planned than
And if they don't, we get raises.
Yeah.
Yes.
I said it here first on stream.
Yep. So Bart gets both raises.
I get both raises.
It's like it's the Price is Right. You were closest within $100.
I win.
Right. So you
I
get
win
both
all the
showcases.
prizes. The price was right. Well, 22 kills now through 32 minutes. This one stalled out.
Yeah, this one stalled out big time. We went from a kill per minute down to about a 66% ratio, which is kind of silly considering the fact that Cloud9, despite the fact that being at 11-11, have definitely fallen victim a little bit. Losing that Phoenix over on the left side, you'll notice they're actually not controlling those minions. They don't really have a way to do that safely.
Well, who's going late here? Who are you liking for the late game?
I think late game is pretty much even, right? Nemesis and Awilix are going to be pretty close, but I like Nemesis's build better. The 3 frontliners is going to be a little bit stronger, and I always give the advantage to Mail of Renewal.
Yeah, hard not to say that. Mail of Renewal is so good. Cooldown reduction, protection.
Whereas we see a Spirit Robe coming out from Baskin. So, like, if there's a trade and Baskin finds a kill and Dare finds a kill, it winds up being a big win for DaretoCare.
Yeah, I guess you got to kind of give the edge to the Nemesis Xbalanque in the super late game here. Just the ability, there's just that, like, 1-2 shot potential from them.
But then again, I mean,
But it's slight. I mean, we're talking, like, 55-45 maybe.
If BaRRaCCuDDa finds Zapman in the 1v1 and catches him with a good stun.
Right, that's what's really holding this thing
Speaking
close.
of stuns, hey Baskin.
Lassiz taking quite a bit of damage. Cataclysm has come out just a little bit early. Kraken going to need to be used pop here quickly. And indeed, it's the good one this time around. And that's going to be enough to clean up andinster, who continues to move forward aggressively. Down will fall Lassiz as well, though, to the Suns as they continue to fall. Omega, he's still lurking in the waters here, putting out the damage, and it's a ton out on the BaRRaCCuDDa. Athena's been coming through as well. The knockup, do they have enough? Yes, charge spray on the mark from Omega. Nicely placed there on the Sobek. And now trying to retreat is Cloud9. MLC stealth with the beads and portal through the wall. Baskin, he's pretty resilient. Going to be a tough one. The taunt's going to come out. Doesn't have the leap away on the Bellona. Lost back by Omega through the threshold, though. Everyone's quite slow and just so tanky as Baskin here. Get Shield going to be back offline as well. No way to secure this kill. They will zone out Janus again, though, and clear out these minions. Fire Giant is available, but the damage probably not there on the side of Cloud9 or Eager.
There it was. DaretoCare has 30% more health than he would have if he bought Spirit Robe. I mean, plain and simple. And with that, DaretoCare able to walk away from that fight cleanly, force Baskin away. Now, it doesn't look like they're going to get a major objective here. And with a 2-for-2, it's not
the Phoenix fell again. The Phoenix, no. The Phoenix drops again in that fight.
It did. Oh, that hurts.
That hurts bad.
That's a real big win for Eager then. Good fight.
And yeah, the thought process of old DaretoCare starting to show itself here, right?
I love it.
Instead of Spirit Robe, what do I really like about Spirit Robe? Well, let's see.
It gives me protections.
A little bit of cooldown reduction, some protections, and some crowd control reduction. Well, I'll just take crowd control reduction boots.
Yep.
Mail of Renewal.
Got it.
And I'm good.
And no, and then the Runic Shield.
Right, well, Runic Shield.
The Runic Shield there to equal out that the magic defense that he's missing.
But Spirit Robe gives you, like, nothing.
Right.
It's like 10s, right? Or 15s.
No, it's 45.
45 protect all in that?
45, yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking Magi's. Magi's is like 10.
But it also gives you 350 health.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But don't ever buy Magi's into Bellona.
No,
it's like the worst mistake. That's like the cardinal sin of Smite right now. Is building Magi's into Bellona, and she goes, no.
Disarm. It's
guaranteed to just make your life the worst. But the Runic Shield's not only going to stop damage from MLC Stealth and JeffHindla, but reduces the attack speeds of both andinster and BaRRaCCuDDa. This ensures that he's hurting everyone on the... Oh, I'm sorry, and Baskin, who has mainly an auto-attack base build.
Janus, all the way on the left side of the map. He's the one tasked with pushing this lane back out.
Is that a Pestilence? Why does he have a Pestilence?
On Bellona?
Yeah. What healing is he stopping? DaretoCare's Retribution and Zapman's Lifesteal?
Sobek, Zapman. It's mostly, I think, a HP and protection effective health play, and there's some nice fringe benefits to the anti-heal.
There's going to be much less effective health on Baskin as he's getting kind of slammed there.
I was going to do it, Kraken, this time. Jeff got the Aegis out again! How did that even happen?
Didn't matter.
He was knocked up when he... What?
It didn't.
He got knocked
matter.
up but still took no damage. Smite, please.
Right side tier 2 gonna fall.
Is this
Left
game,
side
Brandon?
Phoenix. It should be. They have no frontliner at this point.
Do they
Both
have
of
lethal?
Their tanky presences are gone. Do they have lethal?
Shout out to Dry Bear.
This looks like lethal to me, right? I mean, how does andinster fight into this with no knockups?
He's got a Noyatron and 2 Leopard Gnomes. No way they make it back.
You don't even know what those cards do.
I have no idea what those cards do.
Titan getting pressured. Eager looking to close this one out.
Yeah, Andy, he's going to fight with all of his might. He's got the No, he doesn't have that,
Lassiz
actually.
had a beautiful Aegis to stop the Feather Step damage. If Lassiz didn't Aegis there was a possibility for turnaround. MLC still trying to juke, but he's getting hit by those large crits. Zapman
big
credited with that
640
one.
popping out there.
That's it.
And Eager, yeah, they'll take the first game off of Cloud9, and now the pressure is really on to Cloud9 here, because if they don't draw this one even, Eager pulls nearly far enough ahead to secure that second place spot, putting Cloud9 up against the Envy squad, formerly AFK, later on in that bracket.
Assuming
that, you know, things play out
TSM.
in a normal kind of seed-based way.
At this point, Cloud9 and Eager are both fighting for guaranteed third seed, right? They don't care about fourth. Second and third fight basically the same people. It comes down to
I would disagree, right?
I mean, it's one fights four, right? So the goal is not to fall to fourth spot.
Right, well, to not go into the first round, but you want to be in second to not even see Envy until the finals.
Right, which is fourth seed. It should be fourth seed.
Well, it's 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3, right?
Yeah, in semis.
In the beginning.
In semis.
Right.
There's like 5 and 6 too now.
Right.
There's like a ton of stuff
There's
going on.
too many teams. They're all so good.
All right, so then we're cutting it down to just Envy and Epsilon, right?
Yeah.
And then just fight.
No. I want to see Lassiz and the boys back at LAN one more time, guys.
Well,
Player of this game. Speaking of,
why don't we just watch Lassiz now?
it's Lassiz.
First blood credited.
Well, it's not a first one. No, it's just
go right into it. Okay.
This is the first time Jeff dies. I mean, Jeff dies a bunch of times the Lassiz here in the early game, then gets the Aegis and things start to turn back around in favor of Cloud9. But Poseidon, a nice recovery here from Lassiz, really. I mean, you could sense maybe a bit of frustration in the middle stages of this game. The Kraken started getting a little bit off the mark, but once the Gem of Isolation came out and he was able to kind of get back into the swing of things in his normal groove, it ended up being a nice endeavor.
Well, it's exactly like we talked about, right? In the early game, it's all, let's just triple ult one person and hope they die. In the late game, it's all, let's put Athena and Nemesis in the front line, then we'll trade them out, get Sobek in there to set up for the real Kraken. We bait them off, make sure that there's no kind of Sunbreaker. You see, the Sunbreaker affected nothing at that point.
Yeah.
Eager had complete control of that game from the get-go.
Well, let's see. Topping the Alpha Draft performance this game around, it's DaretoCare's Nemesis.
If you're earning 40.5 points to win a game as top player against Cloud9 with that build, you are doing something absolutely perfectly.
Yeah, that was a really, really important performance as well from DaretoCare, because it reinforces that he has. So, like, he brought Naja to the scene.
Right.
And now, if we can play this Nemesis at this level and kind of force teams to have 2 off-meta picks to potentially have to ban, it gets really, really hairy.
And then he goes to land and it's like, oh, Circuit's open. Thank you.
Right, exactly. But you see the rest of old Eager there, the owner and captain, with a lowly 26.5. Steve, come on, get it.
Didn't carry nothing.
You carried nothing. You got carried, buddy, that time. But no, yeah, obviously DaretoCare and Lassiz, that combination, that Nemesis Poseidon, very effective.
Let's just...